what you've been up to and how the tour's going?
Thank you for asking. We started 4 days ago. Tour's been great, and I'm on tour with Schaefer the Dark Lord on the Baby Yoda 2020 campaign trail. It's the one definitive caucus. Political.
You'll find you look like very minor there. Kinda scary, sleeping, aiming up in 10. Mr. Lecture can't pretend. I get the no hypothesis. On Tuesday's test, I was dissed. Got that 60 on my mind. Cash for values all the time. In my notes and in my rhymes. Easy quarter, not this time.
How would you describe your music?
I've always used the term post-punk laptop rap, which is because I grew up loving pop punk music and industrial music. And I made beats on the computer, and then people started calling it nerdcore. Recently, I call it lit hop because I do literary raps, so that's a lot of umbrella terms. But I guess you could say, fun rap music.
So why'd you decide to start performing music?
I decided to start performing because it was something that I couldn't help but do as a way to relate to people. And I like to communicate with people, and I love how punk rock is about breaking down the barriers between the audience and the state and the performer. And I always like that was inspiring to me. So something I did as a hobby, and I was just really fortunate to have opportunities to tour. And now it's 20 years after my first show. March of 2020 is the 20-year anniversary of my first show. Whoa!
It goes Lars attacks. Lars attacks.
I think people would be surprised to know that I'm really into jogging and swimming. I don't really talk about it, but when I'm doing that, I'm able to really be creative. So I try to I'm kind of into like physical fitness as much as I can be. I'm a nerdy about that. I try to always close my rings on my Apple Watch, and yeah, and also that I eat vegan and stuff, but maybe that's kind of boring, but I don't know if people know that about me or care.
That's cool. I think Perry was swimming too.
Perry, yeah, he does a master class or whatever. Perry's a good swimmer. You interviewed him. That was cool.
Yeah. So do you collect anything?
Yeah, I collect Roger Rabbit merchandise. I have about 6 giant tubs of Roger Rabbit merchandise, and I want to start Instagram photographing everything. I have about, honestly, 40 shirts, different Roger Rabbit shirts. I think I have a problem, but I love Roger Rabbit, and I made an album about the movie.
That's cool. When you teach and speak about hip-hop as a literary form and you call it lit hop, can you tell everyone about this?
Yeah, so I do workshops at schools where I talk about how the beat of rap music resonates with iambic pentameter, iambic tetrameter, the cadence and flow, and how kind of like with Hamilton, if you take something historical and something poetic and put it to a rap beat, it has this kind of modern urgency. And I do a TED Talk where I talk about the beat versus the feet, right? The beat of music versus the feet of poetry. You look at things like a foot is like a iamb, so 5 is iambic pentameter. So I just love to look at patterns and shapes, and yeah. So I do workshops at school. So if anyone watching is a teacher, hit me up. We'll get some workshops.
Cool. Yeah, I saw some other teachers are using Flow Like Poe in their classrooms.
That's dope. Yeah, that's cool. Shout out to cool teachers who play MC Lars in the classroom.
So what would you be doing if you weren't doing music?
That's a fantastic question. I did a psychology minor. I would have probably gone and become a therapist, maybe a music therapist, but this hip hop took an interesting path. But yeah, I was going to be a psychologist. That was my first goal, and so yeah, good. That's a good question. That's an interesting question.
Cool. I actually minored in psychology too.
You did?
Yeah.
That's why you're good at asking questions.
Well, I majored in communications.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah, I like your music videos a lot. How do you come up with your ideas?
That's sweet. Thank you, Sarah. I do. I hire different producers based on what vision they have, and I mean a lot of the Flow Like Poe concept we were premiering it at a Scholastic award ceremony at Carnegie Hall, so we wanted a literal interpretation of it. Just depends on how literal or interpretive we want to be, but yeah, I have been fortunate to work with some fantastic directors in my life.
So do you have like a best and a worst show?
Oh, this tour in general.
Like whatever.
Probably the best show. Well, the Aquabat shows were all great. In Baltimore, I had a lot of technical problems last night, but it worked out. I think if you don't address when something goes wrong, people don't notice. And if you're playing if you play a show that's not sold out and it's not packed, don't ever let that affect your performance. You have to give twice as hard and pretend you're playing like Wembley Arena, Because if you're doing that, people will believe it, And that's kind of like the secret to my whole career. Like, I've always been on the fringe of things, but if you act like you're doing things big and you believe in it, then eventually people start, people are like, oh, this is for real, That's a good question, though.
Cool. So if you mess up, don't let anyone know.
Yeah, don't let anyone know, and don't ever be bummed if like you're not playing sold out shows, because it takes a while to get there. And so, yeah, if you mess up, don't let people know. That's a good way to put it.
All right, I'm gonna do this song, which is a celebration of the fact that this gigantic robot Kills turned 10 last year. And in March is the 20th anniversary of my first ever MC Lars show. So I wanted to play this song because one of the first things I liked rapping about was Shakespeare. So this song is called Hey There, Ophelia. Metal for Hamlet. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is there anything that you'd like to try or accomplish that you haven't done yet?
Well, I'm working on a TV project. Like, I want to do a kids project, like educational kids TV project. Working on something like that, like using hip hop to teach about history and literature for younger kids. So that's my next big thing I really want to put my time into. But other than that, I feel pretty happy of all the things I've done,
Cool. So you referenced ska bands. What are your thoughts about bringing the horn section back?
I love ska music because it's so organic and real and alive. I've been fortunate to work with Les and Jake and Aquabats and do Warped Tour, and I think ska is timeless because it's great songwriting and great energy, and ska will never die. Ska is not dead.
The boy completed and it opened up his eyes, weighing 700 pounds and standing 8'5" with his black coat, black shoes.
How'd you get to where you are today, and are you happy the way things turned out?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I was thinking about that today because 5 years ago I played this exact room with Cuckoo Kangaroo after Warped Tour.
Okay.
And it's interesting how I didn't ever expect for things to keep going as well as they have. I think it's just a matter of being nice, and I also think my booking agent and my manager Eva at Theta is awesome. I'm really fortunate to have a great team, and I think that is really what's kept me going so long. So being kind to people, being appreciative, and having a business team that you trust, who believes in you, those three things will make you unstoppable if you really love it. Those are good advice, I think.
Cool. I was just gonna ask about advice. Do you have any more advice for like up and coming like comedians or musicians or anyone?
I mean, I think the trick is to give away your music and don't, you're not going to make money for a while, so figure out how to have an income stream, and that kind of helps make your content pure because you're doing it because you want to. I mean, and then when the time comes, monetizing in creative ways like crowdfunding, Patreon. DistroKid is a distribution site for Spotify and stuff. And it's awesome because you can put out album, pitch your single to Spotify and stuff, and you can do so much now without having to spend, like back in the day, you'd have to spend 20 grand on publicity. Now you don't have to spend that. So be frugal and be patient and treat everyone you meet with respect and kindness.
That's cool. So do you have anything you want to like promote, like or merch or anything you want to talk about?
Oh, thanks for asking. Schaefer the Dark Lord and I are releasing The Friend DeLorean, which comes out at the end of the month. It's our compilation. and I'm on Patreon, and I do 2 songs a month. And right now I'm doing a song about every movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh.
And I love Pac-Man. I know you do too.
Oh, cool. Thanks. So, where can people check you out?
MCLars.com, and then on all the social media, MC Lars, and Patreon.com/MC Lars. And please give me a follow on Spotify.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I think you're a good interviewer, and I appreciate you coming to the show, Sarah.
Sure. Well, thank you.
Peace.
He's gonna